Ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. Hip Hop Mike live from the crib. And this guy is live from being on the go. I know he was just in the studio, but he's hanging out here with us. Bounty Tank in the building. What up?
What's happening, man? What's happening?
Chilling, man. How's things out in Cleveland, Ohio?
Man, I can't complain, man. Cleveland is Cleveland.
All right. Where are you from originally? You from Cleveland?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Cleveland. Yep, born and raised.
Dope. I had an artist that I interviewed yesterday that was born in Cleveland and moved down to Houston. And one thing that stood out to me about him was I could tell he wasn't completely Houston because he had a little bit of flavor from everywhere. And I think that's something very unique to Cleveland. Like, you know, LA has a sound, New York has a sound, Florida has a sound, but Cleveland, I feel like y'all are so great at appreciating all the different flavors and making something that's your own.
Yeah, it's like a little mixing pot, man. Yeah, we kind of, you're right. We grab stuff from different areas and kind of develop into our own little, swag. Yep, you're right about that.
And then y'all be coming with some of the best talent in the world. I mean, sports-wise, music-wise, I know y'all got tons of flavor coming out the city.
Oh, yeah, we got some people, man. We got some folks. You're right about that.
So how did you get started, man? Where did this journey begin for you? Because you're into a lot of stuff. I know you do the fitness, you be in the studio. Like, where did this begin for you?
Man, I mean, well, first, my name Bounty Tank because I'm a bounty hunter. So, yeah. So, but don't get it twisted because I have to explain this to people. I'm not the police. You know what I mean? I'm not no way inform the police. I loan people money to get out of jail that can't necessarily afford it. So what I do is I loan the money, I finance it. I only have to go arrest people is if they don't abide by the contract for me loaning them money, then I have to go find them, or the money I loan them, I'll lose. So that is it. I'm helping people out get out of jail to help fight their cases. You know, it's better to fight cases out of jail than it's in. And they say, forget it, I'm not going back to court, and then that's when I have to go find them. So that's where you get the name from.
So being a bounty hunter, I know there's different levels to it, right? Like there's certain people that they'll get contracted by companies that do the loaning, that they send you to do it. And then there's people, I guess, like yourself that do the loaning on their own and then handle their own business. Is there a big difference in the two, or is it just kind of a similar gig, but one is working under somebody and the other one is kind of working for yourself?
No, it's different because if you contracting through another bondsman, they'll pay you to find somebody. So you have an incentive. I don't get paid to do this. I gotta find them, or we go out of business. So there's no option. If you don't find somebody working for another bondsman, you just don't find them. You don't eat. You don't get no money. Okay. But if we don't find them, we don't eat, and we can go out of business. So there's a big difference. I only go out to people because I have to.
See, I say this though, there's more respect in that, because if I'm somebody that's on the other end, right? If I'm borrowing from a bounty hunter or somebody that's trying to help my situation out to work from the outside fighting the case, you already have met with somebody, have a decent rapport and a relationship for you to even give them that opportunity. Now when you come back around and might have to approach them, they should know of rip they messed up. It's not like running from no face and now somebody that they're not familiar with is trying to meet them halfway. You get the one-on-one experience A through Z.
Right. Some people still don't understand. They think it's about a charge, man. In my videos, because I got a YouTube channel where I show what I do for a living. I had to explain that often. Like, it doesn't matter that you got a misdemeanor. I loaned you $5,000. I gotta take you back to jail. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. In the hood, certain places, a lot of people know who I am. They respect what I do. They know it's business. But you got the younger cats who just, I'm a dude with a badge. I'm authority, so they automatically don't like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like you're a great guy to have on the side, especially if you a young kid in the streets wilding out, because you might come in handy more than once if the right thing's done,
Man, if you smart, if you're going to live the street life, you need to have two people on your team, an attorney and a bondsman. Those are two friends you want to have. But some of them don't understand that.
So how does one get into bounty hunting? Because I know a lot of people grow up and they want to get into, different careers, but being a bounty hunter is kind of new. I haven't seen many kids that's like, it's career day and my dad's a bounty hunter, or I want to grow up and do this. How does somebody get into that and really find joy in it?
I'm going to be honest, it's not for everybody. So you shouldn't get in it if you just want to carry a gun. You shouldn't get in it if you just want authority, you shouldn't get in it for that. You know what I mean? You should have a good heart. Like, hey, you want to help people. You know what I mean? I got in this because I initially wanted to influence the youth. You know, they see this guy dressed like him, talk like him. You know, I'm no different. I just chose a different path, and it might influence some people to do something positive. You ain't got to do the fuck I'm doing, but you could go do something positive. But as far as how you get into it, I mean, each state has different requirements. Some states it's banned, so it depends on where you're at. Each state has different regulations, so I can't really answer that. It'd have to be a very broad answer because each state has different requirements.
See, I feel like, and you can tell me if you agree, but I feel like it should be something that's required in every state because I can't think of a better mediator, especially now with what's going on with law enforcement, between people who understand the culture of the hood and are able to kind of be part of it in a way where they're not wearing a uniform or carrying this badge and not being familiar or removed, that you would be a great middle ground for a kid that might not understand that authority figure but could understand you, and you kind of bridge that gap and like, you know what, there is a system, but there's a way to find some respect for it and make it work for you. Always trying to work around it. Is that the case?
Man. Yeah, man, because in my show, I show that, man. Like, seriously, 90% of my arrests, 95%, there's no violence. I literally walk up to people and I have a conversation like, hey, you about to go to jail. Or, you know, if I got to kick a door or something, that's fine, but just no violence. There's no excessive force. I never have to use it. I just posted a video not that long ago. I had to arrest this dude in a bar. I went in there, talked to dude like, hey, man, you got to go. You know what this is. Dude was cool. I even let dude get his last shot. Let him take a shot at him, man. You know what I mean? You give people respect, they give it back to you, man. So I remember that. And like I said, I grew up in the urban area. So, you know, I know how to respect people. And, you know, like I said, you give respect, you receive it. You ain't got to point a gun in people's face. You ain't got to whoop their ass, man. You can just be normal. Be a human. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely bridging that gap. And that's the movement I'm showing. And I'm trying to show cops. You ain't got to be fucking super aggressive with people. Not with us.
Well, being a bounty hunter, I'm sure there's still instances where you run into officers that might not know what you do or who you are. Do you feel like it's a different interaction when they find out that you actually are sympathetic with their side of the law, or do they treat you like a black man no matter what being in here? Like,
man, it's 50-50, man. I give respect for some cops. Just kind of, you know, that I've been around in the area while they're used to me. But the other half, hell no, man, they don't respect me. They look at us as wannabes, which I don't want to be a fucking cop. At all. You know what I mean? I work for myself. I make my own rules in a way, so I don't want to be a police officer. Nothing against cops. I just don't want to be one. So, no, they don't respect us. We got different laws. So they look down on us. Some cops actually look down on us. And no matter if I got a badge or not, behind that badge is a black man, man. So I've dealt with racism like a motherfucker throughout my years of doing this, man.
See, I'm disappointed in that too, because I say if I was a cop, I would be more happy that somebody is out here, not necessarily making the same bread, but still giving that energy to making the arrest, because you making their job easier at the end of the day, it seems like.
Right,
in a lot of ways.
You would think that, man, but
how many arrests would you say? I mean, I don't know how personal that information is, but how many arrests would you say you've made over your career, and how many have, you know, resulted in some sort of aggression or where you've had to really restrain somebody, and how many have been smoother? Because I think the stats when it comes to people in uniform, they're very sketchy, and it's nobody is like a regular civilian could understand what the process of doing arrests is like. But I'm sure you've had your fair share. Is it always kind of like confrontational, or is it more times than not in your control to diffuse it?
More times than not, I control it. Like I said, my demeanor and how I approach people kind of sets the tone for it. You know, when there's situations I don't have to pull a gun out and put it in somebody's face, I don't. 90% of the time, there's a conversation. Hey, man, you got to go. This is what it got to be. This is not about money. We loaned you money. I explained the process. So I probably had thousands of arrests. I can count on one hand how many times things have got physical. Wow. And even when stuff got physical, everybody went home safe. No one was severely injured. And I still see these people sometimes to this day that I've arrested. And it's love. I mean, they understand that it wasn't personal. It was business. So
that's how it be.
Like I said, 9 out of 10 times there's no violence. I might have to use a little muscle like, hey, chill the fuck out, but that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but to have thousands of arrests under the belt and still be able to see people and it be smooth, I think says a lot because there's a mutual respect there. And I think more times than not, if I ran into anybody of authority, whether it's a bounty hunter or a police officer, and they just treat me with that common respect, it's going to push me to want to self-reflect and see how I could have maybe been more level-headed or handled the situation with more, respect.
Definitely.
How did you get the name Tank? Is that your government name or?
Nah,
that
I
came
got
with the
that
job.
from high school playing football. I used to run people over. My first name is Frank. So you remember old school Frank the Tank?
Frank the Tank.
Yeah, so they just called me Tank. Yeah, Frank the
You don't do much streaking though, I'm assuming. You keep the clothes on.
No, I ain't streaking.
That's great. Damn, man. So you've been a big guy forever. How do you stay fit and train for this? Because I think that's a big part of the conversation too, is that mental and physical training that's lacking in the police force. Do you spend a lot of time in the gym or kind of just meditating and doing things mentally?
Bro, I work out a lot. Not crazy, but I work out a lot, man. It's working out will save your life from somebody else's. When I walk into a room, my presence demands respect, you know what I mean? Because my stature. A cop or a bounty hunter walk in the room and you're fat and out of shape, you're automatically not respected. I mean, it's the truth. When people see me, they're like, they got to think twice, like, all right, do I want this issue? What could possibly happen? Now, some people don't give a fuck about that, but vast majority, men size up other men. You're going to be like, all right, this might be a tussle, and it saves a lot of the situation. If I got to run after somebody, I can run after them. There's no pulling a gun and shooting them. I'll just fucking chase you down.
You was not looking like a guy that I would want to run from, especially now knowing you was playing football. Because I feel like, man, a lot of times these guys, you see them and the perspective isn't like a well-trained, physical, fit guy, but more so people that's at Dunkin' Donuts, or you see them with the coffee, or and over time, I think there's a level of maintaining that physical fitness that is essential, but not really a priority in the police force the way it seems like when you out getting your own money, you know?
And it needs to be, man. Like, for instance, the situation that happened with the guy shooting, what is it, Raymond in the back?
Rashard Brooks.
Rashard Brooks. So think about this. For one, the shit should have never happened. He should have never been able to grab his taser. Why? He wasn't physically in shape. If he could have been in shape and he could have fought dude off, that would have never happened. Secondly, if dude wasn't afraid and scared when dude ran, he just would have chased him. It would have ended in a foot race, not a fucking gunshot. When you're comfortable handling yourself physical, the last thing is you thinking about is grabbing your gun. I don't think about grabbing my gun when I'm with people. That's like my last resort. I'll mace the shit out of you first. I'm not going to shoot you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at least, like you said, they go home. You know, even getting maced, it's like it diffuses it and you go home. You might be pissed, but like you should be thankful you didn't get shot, you know?
Exactly. And I'm like this, man. Fuck them tasers. I mean, you use mace. I don't care how strong or drunk you are. If you can't breathe, you're going down. That's my motto. That's why I don't really mess with tasers like that. You know what I mean? But to each his own, you know.
Has there been situations, I mean, I'm sure there have, where you can't catch up with somebody that might owe you? And how do you handle something like that? Like, how much time has to go by before it gets turned over somewhere else, or it's just let go?
I'm going to be honest, knock on wood, I've never been in a situation where I had to pay the court.
All right.
It got close, though. It got to like one day.
So you would have to pay the court?
Yeah, so I'll give you examples. So say someone's bonds 10,000, 10%.
Okay.
To make it simple, we basically write a post-dated check to the court for 10 grand. Now, if the defendant goes to the court, they got to pay the court $1,000 up front. We allow you to finance that 10%. So you can put down $400 and make payments on the $600. You're still paying $1,000, but we give you time to pay it. But we got to put the full amount up to the court. So if the person skipped, they say, hey, Frank, you got 45 days to find this person, but we're going to cash this post-dated check.
Wow.
That's where you get the hunting from. That's why you see, I don't know if you ever seen my video, I'm kicking doors in because I got to protect that money, man, you know?
Yeah, nah, it's no joke. I mean, I think it's good, though, the way you go about it, bro, because just everything you said, it seems like you give people the opportunity to do the right thing. You know, it's not like
definitely.
you know, when you go to court, a lot of times you get in a situation where you can't even speak for yourself. You can't even work it out with somebody to, like, if I have a ticket, right, that's $3,000, I can't go to court and be like, let me give you 15 today and work off.
No.
Nah, they just want it up front. Otherwise, you going right away. So to give them that leverage, it gives them time to get their affairs in order. If they're not doing it, they deserve to get a door kicked in, you know?
Right. Exactly. That's how I feel.
So what's the ultimate goal with this kind of business? Is it to be like the guy Dog that has like a giant TV show and this is like a media thing? Or is it to have like a business that's just, you know, covering so many people, but has, you know, I guess clientele that's respectful of what it is and able to pay back?
I'm gonna say both, but my dream is to have a television network. I mean, right now I'm just doing my own thing on YouTube, but you know, I want to take over that legacy of Dog. I mean, let's just be real. He was racist. He got caught saying racist stuff, you know what I mean? I'm not going to get into the whole situation with the TV network, but there'll be a press release coming out soon just on dealing with Andy. I'm not going to say what, but it's coming out soon. But, I mean, my thing is you got a black male, young, doing it within authority, doing this type of work, showing you don't have to use excessive force, showing him connecting with the community, doing stuff with the youth. Why wouldn't you want to put that on TV? You know what I mean? So I want to do that and show people, hey man, follow your dreams, no matter what, it can come true, man. So yeah, I definitely have aspirations of taking this to a major platform.
That's awesome, man. You got you have kids or anything like that? Any family that may be following in the footsteps?
Nah, ain't nobody following the footsteps. Nah.
How would you feel about that? Because I've heard, at least with the Dog situation, it's like he was putting pressure on everybody to help him out with it. Is this something that you would ever want your family to get involved in, or?
Nah, I mean, it depends what family members. I kind of know my close intermediate family, and they're not built for that. So you kind of know your family. You know who's built for it or not. It's a lot to deal with. So you gotta have tough skin to deal with this.
See, I think that's really important, though, to note, too, because I grew up, I mean, all over the place. I grew up in a hood, and I've lived in neighborhoods that's white neighborhoods, and more times than not, in the white neighborhoods, the kids, if their dad is a cop, they're going to become a cop. And it's not the same conversation of, are they built for this? It's always the conversation of, I could get them into this particular precinct, or I could get them in this situation where it's good pension and good money. So the fact that you got to go out, get your own money, that it doesn't necessarily come with a pension, I think says a lot too, that, you know, you encourage the people in your family that if they built for it, to do it, because it is a great career and it's something that could lead to a great lifestyle. But at the same time, if you're not built for it, explore other things and be open to other things, because it is a tough job, man. I mean, it seems like it's a lot of hours too to go into it.
Yeah, sometimes it's 24 hours, man. My phone never stops ringing sometimes. So you gotta be built for it, man. Not everybody's built for it.
So, I mean, my last question, you say the phone never stops ringing. How does it go down? Like when you get, you know, is it the court that calls and says this person, or is it like somebody that's at an office? How do you decide, like if somebody hits you right now, do they call you and give you the drop on where somebody is, or is it the drop on what the situation is and you got to go find them?
So it depends. My phone rings from the jail or family members just trying to get their loved one out of jail.
Gotcha.
Or it could be somebody, hey, I just seen so-and-so, he's here. So it's both. And majority is people trying to get out of jail.
Okay. And then you go and you basically do the whole, like you said, you give them the percentage and all. And on the flip side, if somebody gives you like a tip on where somebody is there value in that? Like, are there people that are professionally tipping off bounty hunters that maybe aren't built for the interaction, but like go around trying to kind of ID people?
Man, you know as well as I know, there's always informants. And where there's a dollar, somebody's gonna tell. You know what I mean? I mean that's just the way it works, man. That's the world, man. So,
but there is a dollar. You know, like if somebody is, you know, a confident and they're gonna hit you up, you're able to kind of work it out with them where they get broken off for the tip.
Yep, I pay them. I keep it confidential, and you know I keep a phone book of people that I can call on and rely on, that's gonna help me out. You know, because I help people out. So sometimes people just do me a favor. Like I said, they get called it snitching, man. They're going to go to jail at some point anyway. You might as well get paid for it.
I say this too, man. I think there's levels to the snitching, because there's a lot of situations where people is snitching to make their own situation better, where they might be into some dirt. it sounds like even in this situation, granted, maybe it's snitching, quote unquote, but at the same time, if you're going to snitch on me to a bounty hunter, I'd much rather that than snitch on me to the police, because at least there's an opportunity for you to have that dialogue and actually solve the problem, you know?
Right.
So I think there got to be some respect in that. And at the end of the day, too, you know, if people is living that, you know, I'm sure you doing it for so long, at a certain point, your face is familiar where it makes sense for somebody else's face to kind of be the one to identify, because they might be more comfortable out and about as opposed to just, you know, knowing your car or knowing that you out here, you know, on the hunt.
Right. Definitely is. Right about that.
That's what's up, man. So how long you been on the YouTube for? You've been running up the show on there?
Yeah, I've been doing YouTube, man. It's probably been almost 8 years now. I've been grinding, man. Yeah,
really
been grinding, trying to get it out there, man. Spread the word. See, you got people out there that have the bounty hunt on YouTube, but it's fake. My shit is authentic, nothing scripted. It's real stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what makes me unique. But it also makes my expansion go longer versus somebody who's doing fake stuff and it's excitement every second.
Yeah.
It don't work like that. You know what I mean? That's not how it really works. So I pride on being authentic, man. You're going to get rawness every time you watch it.
That's it. I mean, it's the nature of the beast too, man, I say, because at least that's sustainable. Like over time, if you genuine with the content, you know, you have always something to go back to. But when somebody fabricates something, it's like, how many times your boy going to fake that he got bounty on him, or, you know, like.
Right.
And people see right through that. So, I mean, we could tell it's completely genuine with you, man. And I see people tuning in, whether it's the Instagram or the YouTube, is going up.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Appreciate that, yeah.
Oh, all love, man. Well, how can people keep up with you, and what's the best way to support everything you're doing?
I mean, you can follow me on YouTube at Bounty Tank. Also got a song out right now. It's called Street Niggas. It was dedicated to, it's actually true stories of people that I know that lost their lives to the street. They didn't have to. I mean, it's one thing growing up in the streets when you got to survive, you got to get up out the hood. But there's some people who are not from there and they choose to go be there and they wind up losing life because that ain't them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they trying to live a life that's not them. So it's basically a story of those individuals and how they lost their life. So it's meant to, you know, encourage people, to deter people from stop trying to be somebody you're not, basically. Yeah. So you can find that on all major platforms just at Bounty Tank. Instagram is at Bounty Tank. Facebook, Bounty Tank. Everything is at Bounty Tank.
Look, not for nothing, bro. I think that's so dope, too, because I have a lot of conversations being from, like, you know, different sides of the coin, I say, is like, more times than not, the kids in the hood that talk about getting out of the hood, they never take the time to see the other side of it, and it's inspiring. And to think of it on the flip side, people that's from nicer neighborhoods that maybe gravitate to the hood because it's genuine, but they don't necessarily understand it on that street level or belong there, more times than not get caught up in some shit. So
they following waves, man. That's all. They following waves.
Yeah, but whether it's bounty hunting or music, man, it seems like you bridging the gap between, you know, the worlds, whether it's the police officers in the street or whether it's with the music and showing kids that's from the street the different side and vice versa. It's dope that you're bridging gaps, man, all around, and that you're giving people an opportunity to see both sides and sympathize with it, because not everybody's able to do that. For real.
I appreciate it. I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Well, keep up the great work, man. Anything I can ever do, it's all love. And I appreciate you taking the time today. I know you probably got a long list of things to do.
I appreciate you, man. Definitely. Thank you for having me coming on, man. And, man, hopefully, you know, we get to link up soon, man, when the world opens back up. You know?
For sure, man. I promise I'm not going to show up on that list, though. I don't want to borrow no money, stay out of trouble, all that. You only see me pop up with a phone call. But thank you so much, man. Make sure y'all look in the comments. I'm going to tag the Instagram, everything, the YouTube, so y'all can keep up with these videos and go get lost, man. You know, maybe roll something up and watch some of these videos today like I'm about to do.
Oh, definitely, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Yo, Bounty Tank, thank you, man.
All right.